after Nicole and Kial talked about it, Kial said that they are young adults, but I was like, is Noah a young adult? You sure he's not pushing 40? Because the actor sure is. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates fans? I'm back to review today's Wednesday episode of the show. During this quite boring week of the show, unfortunately. But let's get into some of the stuff today. We started with Chelsea, Kat, and Naomi going over wedding plans for Chelsea and Madison. That really didn't develop anywhere, but I guess it wasn't a health topic, so there's that. Deanna and Noah show up at Uptown so that Deanna can go on a date with this new 40-year-old friend of hers. Noah fills Deanna when she talks about how her mom brought a date to a party that was supposed to honor her father. That was one of the last times she was at Uptown. So they are at least making Noah being able to understand Deanna when it comes to the way she feels about her mother and Joey, maybe, which is something she needs as a character. Kat ended up meeting Noah later in the episode. They talked about how her mom is dating his dad. But, overall, nothing exciting there. Ashley and Grayson were at Uptown. As I go along here, you'll notice that a lot of characters were at Uptown today. Martin and Vernon were starting the episode talking about how Anita was away getting radiation. Vernon is liking his new role, working with someone who's running for some council. Sounds like he gives the woman the same advice he gave to Martin when Martin was first running for office. Anita was back to say the treatment went well and she wants to celebrate. She's ready to paint the town red, which is why having all these characters at Uptown was important, because that's where Anita wanted to throw her celebration, which she did later in this episode, which we will get to. Jacob checked on an injured Smitty. Smitty is still getting that press award. Jacob is proud of him. To me, it's still funny that these two, 4 months ago, were always meeting in our favorite alley, doing a terrible job at their jobs. But, Jacob got an award. Now Smitty got an award. You would think that Impaler case was really, really good when it was a joke. Smitty said he has nothing new on the story about Leah and Lynette, but he's not going to quite drop it yet. His gut is telling him there's a story there. So at least Smitty is on that Lynette case, but if it's not going to end up in us seeing Lynette alive, they really could save it. Trash ended up joining Nicole and Danny today, who were happy about Nicole ruining Leslie's day, telling Leslie that Ted and Shanice are in love. Nicole wanted to call Ted and give him a heads up, but Danny said that he needs to deal with his baby mama drama himself. Then Kial and Andre walked in and we had some little couple scenes between Kial and Nicole and Andre and Danny. Leslie, meanwhile, did go and see Ted, saying it was an emergency. It was an emergency to tell Ted that he is ruining their last chance to get this right. Today, the delusions of Leslie were definitely back on display. And at least for once, Ted thought that Leslie was being ridiculous, talking all of this about their ancient history. Leslie admitted that she had been waiting for Ted to come to his senses and, get back with her, but he is doing the same thing he did before, choosing a safe option over a woman who brings out his passion. I will say this is at least consistency with the Leslie character, who always felt like Ted chose the safe option with Nicole, and now doing that again. But it still comes across as her delusions, of course. Ted tried to tell her that they never had love, they had convenience, and one day Leslie will find the real thing and it will be affirming and she will be glad that she didn't make the wrong choice with him. But she said that he was patronizing her, and Leslie was like, how dare you make it seem like what they had wasn't real? So Leslie's still being in denial here. Leslie said that what Ted has with Shanice is a lie, and when it falls apart, she won't be there. If I was Ted, I would have been like crossing my fingers, hoping Leslie was telling the truth, wishing that Leslie would never be around, frankly. Leslie ended up going to get a drink at the country club to drown her sorrows. She ran into trash. She was getting into it with Vanessa, giving Vanessa shit, but Vanessa sat with her anyway. To hear Leslie's side, Vanessa tried to get her to stop giving Ted attention, but Leslie was still upset and still taking shots at Vanessa. Vanessa was remaining calm at first, saying that, Leslie was saying that Ted loved her and she remembers, but Vanessa says it doesn't matter and talked about how even if Ted did choose Leslie, they probably wouldn't have lasted 6 months. Ted just would have hurt her. I guess Vanessa was just trying to pick up Leslie's spirit today, or self-esteem. I don't really know why Vanessa was trying. I don't even know why Vanessa and Leslie started that sham of a friendship in the first place, because it really wasn't working out today. Leslie turns it on Vanessa and says that Joey may make her life miserable sooner rather than later. Vanessa then said that everything she has done, right or wrong, has been for her family, and I'm like, what the fuck ever. I'm so tired of hearing about Vanessa and how she allegedly loved Doug and she allegedly loves her kids when all of her actions have always pointed the opposite direction. Leslie told Vanessa that Vanessa is a joke, which I agree. I was team Leslie in this argument today, to say the least. Leslie told Vanessa that she threw her kid's father overboard for a man who won't remember her name this time next year, so Leslie will never take her advice. And I hope Leslie's words here are correct, and this time next year, Vanessa is at a low point and Joey has moved on, because it's always fuck Vanessa on this channel. Isaiah and Eva talk about him running into Deanna and how Deanna seems to be doing better. They are going out tonight with Isaiah, extremely worried about Eva and her health issues. Still he wants her to take the painkillers with them on their date. She said she's fine, but we just hear Isaiah again say that he just worries about her because he almost lost her. But obviously Isaiah and Eva were not the only ones going to Uptown tonight, because the Dupree party was happening thanks to Anita, so lots of characters were there. Unfortunately, nothing too dramatic. I do wish that when this show got a lot of characters together, it could be more dramatic, because that's what you should do when you're able to get so many characters in one place, or that's what classic soap operas used to do. Kial saw Noah, his son, his very, very old son, out on a date with Deanna and asked Nicole if he should be worried about his son out with Deanna McBride. But then eventually, after Nicole and Kial talked about it, Kial said that they are young adults. But I was like, is Noah a young adult? You sure he's not pushing 40? Because the actor sure is. But Kial said that they can make their own decisions as young adults. And yeah, I would hope a 40-year-old could make his own decisions. Noah then was in awe when he saw Anita in the flesh. And then he was starstruck when meeting her. I guess this is to play up Noah's musician side and his love of music, that he knows Anita Dupree, even though you would think it would be much different music than whatever it is that he plays. Danny wanted to talk to Naomi at the celebration. It was more of the same. Both of them are processing the Braca Jean situation, and Danny not agreeing with Naomi's decision, but she did tell Naomi it's okay. She might not understand it, but it is Naomi's decision. Kat and Smitty had a talk. She was interested to hear that Smitty could be working on a Lynette story. She asked what happened to Lynette and said, let me guess, she is dead. But Smitty thinks that Lynette could still be in the shadows because she could still be scamming. And then Smitty learned from Kat that someone could have been hired to attack Haley, and maybe Lynette set it up, and maybe Lynette and that Wesley Hammer guy are out hiding together. We still haven't got that cat podcast on this situation. Maybe she'll do it with Smitty at some point if Smitty continues his investigative journalist with this thing. But like I said, if it doesn't end up with Lynette being alive and back on my screen, they can save it. In the end, Anita thanked everyone for coming to the celebration. She said she plans on living each moment going forward and doing more things like this, texting loved ones to hang out, which was cute, honestly. I mean, I have no problem with seeing Anita wanting to live life to the fullest after dealing with cancer. I think that's very realistic. And I enjoyed the end of the episode too, with everyone dancing to funk music. Some people really getting down. I enjoyed Smitty and Martin getting down together on the dance floor. So, a cute ending, but it was another boring episode in what is an extremely boring week of Beyond the Gates.